It is hard to deny that there is an overarching narrative in American society, a belief structure that is put forward largely by left-wing actors that is repeated time and time again until, for a lot of people, it ultimately ends up becoming true. And a perfect example of this is this blind way that the media and all the lefty elites want us to just believe anything a woman says. And we've seen this on display multiple different times in multiple different instances. And as I've talked about in videos covering issues like the Tawana Brawley case, this isn't something new. This is something that has been with us. It's been pervasive for decades in this country. And despite what people want to do now, where they blame it on the woke or the SJWs, it actually predates that idea, because the underlying philosophy behind this is America bad. The underlying philosophy behind this is men bad. The underlying philosophy by this is white people bad. And all of these come together whenever we have an instance of a white straight male, or theoretically straight. We're talking about Johnny Depp here. Who knows what he actually is? I don't want to judge. Doing something allegedly wrong, we automatically, no matter what, must believe the opposing person to this straight white man, and God forbid the guy's rich, because then it becomes an incentive for people out there in the media to take this person down. And of course, what we're talking about today is the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation. They got into a whole big thing with domestic violence. There was a Washington Post article. There's a big back and forth. Johnny Depp filed suit. Amber Heard filed countersuit. And now we're in the trial phase. And what we're seeing is, when the media's narrative gets put to the test, just how vulnerable it is, because Johnny Depp, by all accounts in the public, seems to be dominating this case, and the media is freaking out over it. Now, I'm going to cover all of this. We're going to go over it point by point, line by line, in a shortened, condensed way, which I will not be doing a point by point, line by line analysis because it's days of testimony, but we got to throw it over to our sponsor. Let's go over to them, then come back over here, and then talk about what we're going to talk about. Countless people in this nation struggle with weight loss, and one of the reasons why is because your body's working against you. Every single decade, your metabolism slows down by about 4%. So you might be asking yourself, how does one counter this genetic pitfall when it comes to weight loss as we get older? And the answer that I found, the answer that I recommend, is Keto with Justice. This amazing keto powder works by elevating the number of ketones in your body, thus prolonging a fat-burning state known as ketosis, and thousands of Americans have tried this, and it has aided their weight management goals. And just for you guys out there in the audience, because you're clicking on my affiliate link in the pinned comment and in the description, ketowithjustice.com, you can get 51% off this powder, 60-day money-back guarantee. Try it, love it, lose your weight, feel better about yourself. ketowithjustice.com. So a long time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, Amber Heard wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post where she detailed her history of alleged abuse against herself. Now, she did not name Johnny Depp by name at the time, but obviously this was in reference to Johnny Depp, and the consequences were swift and severe. Johnny Depp was rejected from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. A bunch of different studios said and pledged to not work with him again, and it looked like this guy's career is over. And we need to talk about Johnny Depp's career, because this guy was well established in Hollywood. I've spoken about it before, but when Johnny Depp signs on to a movie, he usually gets something like $20 million up front. For the Pirates movies, it could actually ultimately end up being higher, and then he gets points on the back end. So the ticket sales will add more money to this man's coffers, and this was a long earned career. You may not like Johnny Depp, you may not like all of his movies, and in fact, I'm sure none of you like all of his movies, but he's paid his dues in Hollywood, and he commands that because people go to the theater to see Johnny Depp. Remember, we talked about the whole Pirates of the Caribbean reboot post this scandal, and how they were going to replace Depp with a woman because, you know, women, girl power, everything. But the thing is, Pirates of the Caribbean was a franchise that was made by Depp's performance. Everybody was against him in the studio. They didn't like the direction he was going with it, and the most iconic character from that series is Johnny Depp's Captain Jack Sparrow. So he's earned it. So to have that ripped away from him based on allegations that weren't even courageous enough to name him by name in the Washington Post was devastating. Not to mention, this guy spends an enormous amount of money every single month. I remember I saw a story about Depp going bankrupt because he only makes $2 million a month, and he spends about $3 million a month because he's a nut job. So a lot of people were primed and ready, based on his erratic behavior in the past, to believe these allegations. Plus, it was a climate of believe all women, yes all women, confirm all women, me too, yada yada yada. You all know where I'm going with this. However, there were a few chinks in Amber Heard's armor. There were a few issues with her story, and first and foremost was an audio leak that kind of confirmed that Amber Heard not only hit Johnny Depp, but she was hitting him and kind of trying to gaslight him into saying that, oh, it wasn't a punch, therefore it doesn't matter, or I can't hurt you, therefore it doesn't matter, or whatever. I'm sure you guys have all heard this audio. I will play it for you unless it's owned by TMZ. Then TMZ will, of course, copyright strike my video and threaten legal action against me because they want to come after me for commenting on a news item because they don't understand how fair use works. But if I find a non-TMZ version of it, I will definitely play it for you because TMZ might actually own this whole story and might actually file a lawsuit or try to file a lawsuit against me. Still waiting on that, because, you know, they think they own everything related to celebrity news because they were some of the first people to make a business model out of stalking celebrities. But, you know, whatever. We'll try to play the clip and not let my personal animosity go in there.
I'm not going to be in a physical fucking altercation with you.
Then don't.
You fucking hit me last night. You fucking...
You can't run away every fight. You can't. It's easy. It's not brave. It's not strong.
I don't want to, because I don't want to fucking... fight.
You run away every single fight. Want to make it easy on you, so you split. You don't fight for me. You don't fight when there's a problem. You don't.
True. I'm not the one who fucking throws fucking pots and
those are different. That's different.
Fucking else at me.
That's different. Just because I've thrown pots and pans does not mean that you come and knock on the door. Just because there are vases does not mean that you come and knock on the door.
Really, I should just let you throw.
I'm not saying that. You're saying that. You're putting words in my mouth and then making non sequiturs.
I'm giving you a situation. Oh man.
No, fuck that. I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You know, even a lot of fights been around a long time. I know. Yeah,
no, when you fucking have a closed fist.
You get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you. That's the difference between me and you. You're a fucking baby.
Now, as you can see, obviously, this did not look good for Amber Heard. And all of a sudden, when this happened, people on the internet.com, who are primed and ready to be skeptical of the mainstream media, started reporting that, hey, maybe there's more to this story than meets the eye. Some people shifted all the way to the other camp, to Johnny Depp is innocent, Johnny Depp didn't do nothing, Johnny Depp crossed state lines, maybe, but he definitely didn't do no abuse to Amber Heard. But for the most part, this was the beginning of the end for Amber Heard in the public consciousness. Because what you can hear from that video, Amber was in fact an abuser. Now, I will say, and this needs to be pointed out, that that clip that I just played you had to have been recorded by Johnny Depp or somebody aligned with Johnny Depp. So obviously, it seems like he's acting really calm there. But remember, Johnny Depp knows he's being recorded there, so it would actually make a lot of sense for him to be calm, even if he were guilty at this point, or guilty as well as Amber Heard, because again, he knows that the tape is on. He knows that this could be utilized in the future. So I would expect that the audio and video or whatever that comes from a certain specific perspective would be showing the person who's recording it in a very good light. So Johnny Depp, this doesn't prove that he's innocent, but it does prove that there is some guilt associated with Amber Heard's actions, which the Washington Post article and the media's adulation of her at that point did not prove.
Because you start physical fights?
Such a baby!
Because
Grow the fuck up,
because you start physical fights?
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did, so I had to get the fuck out of there.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You are admirable.
Now, at this point, when this audio came out, people started shifting from Amber Heard to Johnny Depp. It was the first leak in the ship that is the Black Pearl. Yes, that's a Pirates of the Caribbean reference. You're welcome for that bad reference that didn't need to be in this video. But overall, the story kind of tamped down for a little while. There was no new updates. There were some people in the media saying, oh, this doesn't prove nothing. Don't worry, Amber's our golden girl. We love Pamber. Pamber's amazing. Don't worry about it. No big deal. But overall, it just kind of died down. Some people covered it. Then it was a wrap. Now, there were blips here and there that brought the story back up into the public consciousness, mostly people relitigating this specific audio in the public consciousness. When Amber Heard came up for Aquaman, she was doing press interviews, people got sick of it. They saw that Jack Sparrow was pulled off of some of his movie projects, so they decided to say, hey, get Amber Heard out of Aquaman. Our most treasured franchise in the history of the world is the Aquaman franchise, and Amber Heard, she don't need to be over there. Get rid of Pamber, cancel Pamber, get her out of Aquaman. Again, DC's most treasured hero on planet Earth, because he's the hero of the ocean, which is 75% of the Earth. And don't check me on that. Don't do your fact check in the audience. Don't say it's 66.79%, because I don't care. 75% of the Earth, exact number. Quote me on that. Stamp it on my grave. Stamp it on my headstone after TMZ kills me in a lawsuit because they think they own every aspect of every story just because they had a clip, and therefore fair use doesn't apply to them. While this is getting personal, let's move on to the trial phase. Now, while there are some blips here and there, Johnny Depp losing some opportunities, people wanting Amber Heard to pay in kind for what she did to Johnny Depp or what they perceived she did to Johnny Depp, we didn't really have it out in the open. We didn't have a full airing of the dirty laundry, and this is because, for the most part, Johnny Depp had to go to the same media outlets in order to get coverage of his side of the story that Amber Heard went to. And Amber Heard was the woman. Amber Heard went to the Washington Post. Her story was already out there. All these journalists talked about how much they loved Amber Heard and how stunning and brave she was for going after Johnny Depp, because there were going to be dire consequences for her going after Johnny Depp, like being attached to $1 billion franchise, while Johnny Depp was being thrown away from $1 billion franchise and all that nonsense. But the trial has completely flipped public opinion into Johnny Depp's camp. I would say that he was trending up towards a 50-50 split, but overall, this has been an absolute massacre of Amber Heard, and people are breaking down every aspect of her behavior, every aspect of Johnny Depp's testimony, and they're reacting very positively to Depp because Depp has been charismatic, and his story rings true to a lot of people. Now, that doesn't mean that Depp wasn't a problem in the relationship. That doesn't mean that Depp wasn't abusive in different ways, but it appears like Amber Heard is the physical initiator of abuse. It appears that the images that she put forward of small bruises that could potentially be makeup are all a part of something that she's concocted against Johnny Depp to ultimately end up extorting him out of properties and money, because they were married, and often money is a huge issue in terms of divorce. Now, the first red flag to be revealed at trial appears to be Amber Heard's demands of what Johnny Depp should give her in their divorce letter. Now, I want to be perfectly clear. Demands like this, when you're talking about rich people getting divorced, happen all the time. Demands like this, when you're talking about shared assets, even with the average American getting divorced, happen all the time. But it seems rather weird, rather odd, that Amber Heard specifically wanted the things that she demanded in this divorce. And the most glaring red flag to me is not the fact that she wanted all of these high-end properties from Johnny Depp. It's not the fact that she amended her demands to make sure that Johnny Depp continued to pay the mortgages on all these high-end properties that she would have exclusive access to, and he couldn't go in at all. It's the fact that she asked for a Range Rover. Now, I get that Range Rovers are actually surprisingly expensive. In fact, I looked up the MSRP for some of the more expensive Range Rovers, and I was surprised to see that they get closer to $200,000 than I was expecting. But it's a car. Cars go down in value no matter what the car is, except for very specific circumstances like a classic or something that tends to get better with age or whatever, the crazy used car market that I actually made a video about. And Amber Heard is demanding this car as a part of her compensation package, and of course, Johnny Depp is expected to make all the payments. Which, by the way, if you're Johnny Depp and you're pulling in a $20 million upfront fee when you're doing a movie, stop making payments on things. Stop borrowing money. Just pay it cash. Come on, what's wrong with you? Why do you have a car payment if you're Johnny Depp? You should be able to afford it. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier about him not being able to manage his money. They had two actors in the household, and yet they're still making payments on this Range Rover that Amber Heard demanded in her divorce letter. Now, the reason I red flag this is because things that tend to look petty really stick out to me in terms of divorces, and this seems like something that she wanted to take from Johnny Depp rather than something that she was just so emotionally attached to. The properties are the properties. They have value, and of course, she doesn't want possession of the properties. The way she wants them is that she gets to live in them. Depp never gets to go in them, but he continues to pay the mortgage on them, which is really weird because in perpetuity, you have to house your ex, which again, I know in certain states that divorce arrangement is not that unusual, but she is asking for a bunch of different properties in Johnny Depp's name to essentially live off of him for the rest of her life. I know that's what alimony's about. Everybody calm down. And the way that this letter was worded was very much like it was a threat. This was the opening offer, and it was a huge ask, in my opinion, from Amber Heard, and it all seemed based on the idea that she was going to destroy him in the public if he didn't comply with what she wanted. And by the way, had Johnny Depp done this, had he actually signed over this much in the divorce, and Amber Heard would have come out against him anyway for fame, for glory, for attention, then she would have won because she would have said, look at how much stuff this guy has brought forward and given over to me in the divorce. He's still paying for all this. That's how you know that he's in the wrong. But again, this was just one aspect of the trial among many different things that led me to believe that Amber Heard is significantly more of an abuser than Johnny Depp at this point in time. Now, she has to bring on her own witnesses. I'm not even sure if she's done testifying on her own. I think she has to go through cross-examination. But so far, Johnny Depp looks fantastic. This is why they're cutting together all those compilations of him that are praising him and talking about his charisma and showing him off, and all the cuts of Amber Heard are jokes. Also, there's the whole poop in the bed incident. I won't get into that because this is a classy show, but Amber Heard did poop in Johnny Depp's bed. She poops in the bed. She's a bed pooper, and that is a giant red flag for everybody out there in the public. Now, with that being said, I think the most important aspect of this trial isn't actually the celebrity drama. It isn't actually Amber Heard pooping in a bed, and it isn't actually the hilarious memes about Amber Heard's dog stepping on a bee.
My dog stepped on a bee.
My dad has to pee.
My mom's stuck in a tree.
My squirrel got bit by a flea.
Without my glasses, I cannot see.
My child spilled my tea.
I sharted on Santa's knee.
I want to learn Tai Chi.
You turned her against me!
Or Amber appearing to hold for a second with the tissue so that a photographer can take a picture of her, so that can be a thumbnail image for people out there in the world to put in their articles about how much she's a victim.
So Michelle, can you pull up 272, please? And after you both return to LA,
I believe the key slice of information that should transcend this trial is the audio put forth by the Depp team that shows Amber Heard was mocking the idea of Johnny Depp telling his side of the story of him going public because she knew that people would not believe him when he said he was being abused by a woman. She knew that society would side with her, and she was daring Johnny Depp to try to take this to a jury because she knew that she could manipulate the narrative, at least initially this is what she believed, in order to get the outcome that she wanted.
It's been going on too long, Amber. Hey, we just gotta stop this. Just gotta stop it.
I don't know how to get my reputation back.
We write a letter together.
Does that mean?
Saying that we're going to take this out of the public eye, saying that we're going to try and work this out on our own, saying that the media has created such a fucking hateful storm that it's sickening, that we love each other, and that we want to make sure each other is okay. Have we had fights in the past? Have we had this or whatever? Fuck it, they already know all that shit. Don't matter. Here's the deal.
No, it matters. You have no idea. Every ounce of my credibility has been taken from. And done so in a dishonest way. You know.
Amber, the abuse thing is we've got to deal with that. Yeah. We got to deal with that, Amber.
Any way of my credit is
my credibility, you know, and
And why did you put that out there?
I did not. You forced me. Your team forced me to by going on the offense.
I didn't force you to.
From the very beginning. I promise.
Amber, I lost a fucking finger, man. Come on. I had a mineral can of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
yes.
It's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
And for me, whatever else happens throughout this trial, what the jury ultimately ends up deciding is pretty much irrelevant, because Amber Heard, a powerful celebrity figure with connections to the media, just said what we all know that people do, because people lie about everything when they're given this unparalleled, unquestioning victim status if they dare come forward. This is the consequence of the great narrative that the left puts forward, is that all these people out there, and there's a bunch of them, that pay attention to the news, that want positive feedback, that want positive attention, realize that they could just crush somebody that's close to them, and they won't really have a good mechanism to defend themselves. Now, Depp does have the means to defend himself, and this is why we've actually gotten to see some of this evidence, because she went up against somebody who's raking in the cash and can afford lawyers and can make a statement against somebody trying to manipulate him and trying to manipulate the public consciousness to turn people against him. But most men do not have this luxury. Most men don't have the foresight to start recording all the crazy things that their wife is saying on the chance that she's going to divorce him and try to paint him as a figure. I think Amber Heard would have been better served had she not threatened Depp so many times in private like this, which was an implied threat, and actually just went through with this. If she had done this and Depp didn't have this audio, then the media would be siding with Amber Heard. You can produce whatever witnesses you want that are testifying while they're going through a drive-through, but in reality, that is not going to make as big a difference as Amber Heard, in her own words, saying what we all knew the consequences of this Believe Women narrative was going to be.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as Romero Exhibit Number 1. It's a deposition that was taken of you on July, back at that time, 2 months after the incident.
Yes, I remember, because like I say, I always make eye contact with someone that I'm talking to, but I'm not looking to find something like oh, your makeup is wrong, you haven't have changed your eyebrows, or your eyelashes are not even, or I'm not looking for anything. I'm just looking at their eyes, and I'm not looking for anything else. But if I see something, I will probably will remember. May 24th.
Yes.
Yep, that's Tuesday.
But in fact, you don't recall seeing Amber Heard on May 24th, correct?
I don't remember. I don't even remember what I got for breakfast.
Okay.
And finally, I want to wrap up with the media's role to play in this, because the media are the ones who gave Amber Heard the voice to defame Johnny Depp. The Washington Post in particular put out her thing because they wanted to show how virtuous they were. They wanted to show how badly women are victimized, that even our most treasured treasure, Amber Heard, this rich woman whose successful career on the rise, can be victimized by an evil white celebrity rich guy, evil white celebrity, evil white rich, blah, blah, blah. So they ran the story, they bought into the narrative. You had a lot of the journalism where they just repeat the points from Amber Heard's op-ed, and they went into full smear mode against Johnny Depp. And as things have started to churn against Amber Heard, you started to see the media kind of tamp down a little bit, just kind of cover the spectacle of the trial. However, the YouTubers that flipped, or the YouTubers that are covering the Depp thing and raking in the views, are really aggravating the media. So now we have a bunch of hit pieces that all came out at the same time. Funny how that works, that talks about how YouTubers, legal YouTubers, like good people like Nate the Lawyer, are making a good amount of money generating views covering this content, and how they don't think that's okay. And how the real problem is that this is actually proving that women shouldn't come forward because all these evil men on the internet will make fun of them. Wow, aren't YouTubers bad? Aren't TikTokers bad? It's horrible when people prejudge an outcome and let public opinion take over and attack one party in a messy divorce case. I mean, they did the exact same thing when it came to Johnny Depp, and they didn't have anywhere near the evidence that has been presented at trial, but it's really evil that these TikTokers and YouTubers and all these people making memes are out there making judgments on Amber Heard's testimony because she looks so terrible in her testimony. Aren't they terrible? The only people who are allowed to prejudge are the mainstream media. These are the main takeaways from the articles that we're seeing across the internet. Now, obviously, I'm not about what the media is about in this instance. I don't subscribe to the idea that we should somehow defer judgment when it's convenient for the mainstream media when they were the ones in the wrong, even when a trial is ongoing. I think when you're watching the trial, just like the jurors, you can make your judgment. Now, I say leave room for new evidence to be introduced in the trial. We haven't seen Amber Heard's full side of the story. We haven't seen her witnesses, and maybe you'll be convinced. But so far, it's perfectly fine to point out that it's not looking good for Pamber against Johnny Depp. So far, it's not too far-fetched to say that maybe Amber Heard was the abuser. She looks horrible in this situation, and she is no bueno. There's a lot of speculation about her mental health. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not an expert on that, and of course, like many of the trials involving wealthy people, they got an expert for Johnny Depp's side, they got an expert for Pamber's side, and shockingly, the experts being paid by both sides involved in this case each are siding with the person that's paying them and saying, no, they're not mentally ill. Yes, they're very mentally ill. Yes, they're a common liar. No, they're doing everything regular. Don't worry about it. It's all good in the hood. So obviously, I'm not a big fan of the expert witnesses because, again, if somebody was going to be an expert witness, you hired them and they told you that your case was bad and they were going to testify against you, you just unhire them or you'd pay them and then move on from them because that's how these cases typically work. So yeah, Amber Heard not doing well. The mainstream media has no credibility in this realm. Remember, they were running the smears on Kyle Rittenhouse when the trial came out, and that flipped the public consciousness. They didn't back out of that either. They didn't condemn their fellow reporters for their horrible journalism, even though we had 100% coverage of that on video from wire to wire. All of a sudden, it's not bad to do prejudgments or whatever before that trial. It's not bad to lie about what's going on during the trial when Kyle Rittenhouse was clearly winning because the evidence was all on his side. It's totally fine to just say crazy things and it's okay, don't worry about it, all good in the hood. Again, no problem here. But Amber Heard, once you start judging based on the testimony delivered in the trial, based on the evidence being presented in the trial, then you're a problem. Then that's leading to a long history of misogyny and our original narrative that we're going back to. Then that's just proving out what they believed in the beginning, even though what they believed was Amber Heard's story, that you can't go up against men in the public consciousness because everybody's pro-man and pro-woman abuse, because definitely our society is definitely cheering on domestic abusers. You're not regarded as one of the most shameful, weak men of all time if you beat women. We all support domestic abusers because that's how our society works. Sure, whatever. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like the video, you can show me by leaving a like. You can subscribe for more content. You can follow me on all my social medias. You can support me via the support links in the description box. This has been me talking about the Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp situation. Till next time.